Hi, I'm Graham from Second Era of Moles, and if you've clicked on this video accidentally, 90 seconds is all I ever ask. Welcome back to another week that was on Pokemon Masters. It has been rammed this week. So many things going on. We've had the Champions Stadium last week in Alola, we've had the Anniversary Ticket Scout, we've had Moltres in the Legendary Arena, we've had the Friendiversary and the Friendiversary Battle Challenge, we've had the introduction of Victory Road, we've had some throwback battle challenges. I'm sure there's ones that I'm forgetting in there, so I don't know how we're going to fit them all into one video, but we're going to try. So this has been the final week for Alola in the Champions Stadium, so we say Alola to Alola and Alola to a new region next week. In round 1 you get a status conditions boost. I chose to take on Olivia for this one, and my team was Jasmine and Steelix, Steven and Metagross, and Hop and Zamazenta. Again, I didn't really think that the status conditions boost offered anything to the type weaknesses, so I was kind of thinking, well, maybe we'll get some flinching in there with Iron Heads and things like that. So I had Hop as my first target to try and get that revenge boost. He's using Hop to it and Behemoth Bash when he's got that free move. Jasmine is raising special defense. Steven is raising his attack. I was quite unfortunate in this one, I felt, because I didn't get many attack refreshes, didn't get many clang refreshes, so I couldn't make full use of Steven's Haymaker. That was irritating, so I had to use a Meteor Mash in there. You get down to that first sync move, it goes to Jasmine because I have her at 6x. Then this is where I used up all my clangs because I was trying to use Iron Head, Metal Claw, Gyro Ball all in the same turn, and it was heavy on the move gauge. Didn't get any refreshes on it. Remember to use Best There Is with Steven before a sync move. That guarantees his sync move is going to be a crit hit. It does big damage to the other team. It takes out both of the sides, does big damage to the middle. Hop probably needs to use a potion around here to keep himself topped up, and then you're just doing another Best There Is, couple more Iron Heads should be enough to get it done. In round 2 you get a special attack boost. Kahili was weak to psychic types, so I went up against her with a team of Bianca and Mishana, Lusamine and Necrozma and Aquaranid. Aquaranid is only really in there to help with Necrozma's master skill. This is a very short battle, so I don't even know if I'll get time to move the stats over in this one. With Necrozma you're doing Dire Hit and then Luminous Love. With Bianca you're setting Psychic Terrain and then you snooze you lose. Aquaranid gets a Water Gun, then a Carpe Diem, and then I put Wide Guard on just because I felt like it. That should bring you down to that sync move, which goes to Necrozma because it gets that ultimate form and extended range. You get a free prismatic laser in there. Make sure you reset Psychic Terrain first. That's going to do a hell of a lot of damage. Aquaranid faints at this point, but no one really cares because Necrozma is just firing lots of laser beams everywhere. And yeah, that should get you done before the enemy even has their sync move. In round 3 you get a sync move stats boost, so I took on Acerola with this one. My team was Hilbert and Samurott, the Masked Royal and Incineroar, and Blue and Blastoise. I really think this is a good team for the Masked Royal because you have Hilbert in there that's going to raise its attack, Blue is going to raise its defense, Hilbert's also going to raise its speed and crit hit rate. That means that rather than having to use trainer moves, you can start off doing Brutal Swing, which is going to lower the enemy's attack and defense, and that's going to feed into its sync move. So it all sort of rounds together quite well. You can also use some Ready Fights in there to boost evasiveness and get you down to that sync move. It's going to go to Blastoise for that team endurance. When you get into that second phase, you can use it to the top to get move gauge boost. You're still doing Brutal Swing with Incineroar. Hilbert is using up any remaining trainer moves if you get some refreshes. Then it's using Waterfall to maybe get some flinching in there. That'll get you down to that second sync move, which goes to Hilbert for another 6x boost. I was aiming at Miss Magus at the side there because I was thinking if I'm doing big sync moves to Gengar, I want to get rid of the sides as well before they can come in with their Icy Winds and Earthquakes and whatever else they decide that they're going to bring to the table. From there, you're carrying on with your brutal swings until all of the enemies' stats are as low as they'll go. You can do some Darkest Lariats after that, maybe at the remaining side, and it's all about getting down to that sync move. And when it came, it did 46k damage. Wasn't quick enough to get a screen grab there, but it's like going up and stomping all over a child's sandcastle. In round 4, you get a sync move countdown reduction. The final member of the Elite Four left was Molayne, so I took him on with a team of Acerola and Palosand, Cynthia and Garchomp, and Skylar and Swanna. This is a sand team with Skylar as the tank in there, so you're starting off raising Garchomp's attack, take flight with Skylar, and astonish with Acerola. I did manage to get a flinch in there, and it kind of screwed me over because I was like, oh, use another attack. And I was like, if I hadn't have done that, I'd have had a sync move straight away. But you live, you learn. Skylar gets that first sync move for that 6x boost. After she's had her sync move, you can set Sandstorm. You don't want to set it too early, otherwise it's going to run out. If you set it then, it'll last all the way through to Cynthia's sync move. She can start using, I say she, they're all ladies. Cynthia can start using, this match is too much fun, to boost speed and crit hit rate. Skylar is doing either Gust or Take Flight to get that countdown going down. Acerola's flinching all the way as much as she can. You go for Cynthia and Garchomp to have that second sync move for the Mega Evolution. It didn't do a huge amount of damage. I was a little bit concerned that I'd picked the wrong team. But I got into the next phase and I started using my Earthquakes, and they were doing hefty amounts of damage in there, and it started to snowball. So I was like, yeah, made the right call there. The sides are going to melt down quite quickly from that. You can reset Sandstorm in there. On the defensive side, you want to make sure you watch out for high horsepower. That's going to take a big chunk out of Skylar's health. So you want to make sure that when you see that, you have quite high health already, and you have a potion queued up to recover from that. He's going to chuck a few of them at you. I have no idea how Dugtrio can use high horsepower. There's no way that thing could get on a horse. But with Skylar surviving a few of them, that should give Cynthia enough time to cut through. In round 5, you're taking on Hao again this week. His permanent condition is a move gauge boost. I chose to go for the sync move stats boost to go along with that, and my team to go up against Hao was Signasuit, Elesa and Rotom, Xerneas and Sycamore, and Anniversary N and Reshiram. So the strategy here is just to reduce as much stats as possible with Noble Roar, and then unleash some big blue flares. You use a couple of dire hits and the truth will prevail with Reshiram in that first phase. Elesa is boosting special attack and using a Thundershock if not. Xerneas is using Dazzling Gleam to get down to that first sync move. It's going to go to Xerneas for that special attack and speed boost. When you get into that second phase, you can set The World is Vast. Reshiram starts using Noble Roar here to reduce enemy attacks. Elesa uses a Breathtaking for that sync move countdown reduction, and then moves on to some Thunder Shocks. That should get you to your second sync move pretty quickly. It goes to Elesa to get that second 6x boost. No, she's the only 6x one in here. I apologise. But she gets that 6x boost. You use a couple more Noble Roars after that to make sure all the stats are as low as they can go. Xerneas fainted quite quickly into this battle, which was annoying, but he had kind of filled his role by that point. It's the flash cannon that really does him in. He's not able to quite get the health back from that. But this is where the fun begins. You start on your blue flare. It absolutely torches the two sides. They don't last very long at all. You come down to hopefully your third sync move. You give it to Reshiram, and he just obliterates Hao. And that's our final 10k point run for the Alolan region in this go round. Next week we're moving back to the Unova region, so hopefully I'll see you there in Unova. The original Firebird Moltres has returned to us in the Legendary Arena. The key to Moltres this time around is getting rid of the sun. When Moltres has sunny day, it's a pain in the arse to deal with. And when you get rid of it, whatever weather that replaces it becomes permanent. So high incentive to come in with a weather setter in there and take advantage of that. You have 3 challenges again. They are to use 3 Kanto types, 3 rock types, and 3 gym leaders. My first team was Brock and Onyx. Brock and Onyx satisfy all 3 of those conditions, so very useful to have in there. I had Winona and Pelipper, and Grunt and Aurorus as my final one in there. The first thing you want to be doing in this one is setting Rainy Day. That's going to help you out tremendously. You've got Rock Hard Determination, you've got Rock Tomb in there to lower the enemy's speed. Trainer moves help early on to get down to those sync moves quickly. Brock has potions, he also gets all of the sync moves because his sync move is boosted when the enemy's speed is reduced. It was a bit of a slog, this one. I managed to get into the second bar, but because Pelipper had fainted by that point, when Moltres reset Sunny Day, I didn't have anything to counteract, and yeah, Aurorus and Onyx didn't last long after that. My second team was Egg Blastoise and the player, Brock and Tyranitar, and Misty and Psyduck. I'll admit this wasn't the best of teams because the weakness changes after the first bar from rock to water. I was kind of expecting it to go rock, water, and then back to rock, but it went rock, water, water. So I'd have been better off coming in with some of my more powerful rock units, maybe a Olivia in there, or maybe going with Acerola as a sand setter in there instead for the first bar. But this one gave you your final rock type. It gave you 2 more Kantos to round that one out. The sun resets halfway through the bar, so you need to be aware of that as well. I didn't cotton onto it quickly enough, so I didn't reset it in time, and it cost me quite a bit of health to all of my units. Tyranitar is quite glassy, Misty and Psyduck. They're good, but I don't think they were quite built to take on a Moltres. So that kind of left a bar and a half up to my final team. This is why you stuff as many as the conditions into the first 2 teams though, because when your third team comes in and you can use any team that you want whatsoever, you can come in with a team like this, which is May and Swampert, Archie and Kyogre, and Skylar and Swanna. So this is kind of the ultimate water combination for a fast clear. You've got Origin Pulse and Muddy Waters that are going to do huge amounts of water damage, especially when they're boosted by the rain. Skylar has potions and tankiness and all of the good things that she does. So May is in there because you'll need to reset rain at some point as well. I just about had enough in this team to take down Moltres, so reasonably successful. If it had been a less busy week, I'd have gone back a couple of times and really sort of fine-tuned and tweaked this strategy, but with everything else going on, didn't quite have time to do it. So hopefully this is kind of a blueprint, not an instruction manual. It's kind of the same. Hopefully this is something that you yourself can build off and build better teams to do it much more efficiently than I did. We've had our 10 days of 10 scout tickets, so you should have been able to pull 100 sync pairs from there. My best day is when I got a 5-star, 4 4-stars, and 5 3-stars. My worst day was the first day when I got 10 3-stars. Overall, I ended up with 75 3-star pairs, 21 4-star pairs, and just the 4 5-star pairs. So I said last week 7 was the number that I was aiming for. That was bang average. I was below average this week. Not often you can say that about me. I am spectacular. But I can't really complain, and I'm not complaining because I've had some very good pulls recently. I'm not going to put all of my scouts up either. I don't think there's much use in that. Happy anniversary, everyone! We've reached the 2.5 year anniversary of Pokemon Masters X. They're branding it as a Friendiversary, not a Friendversary, as I originally thought, which is when a mate of yours also becomes your rival. We've got a nice new preloading screen which shows off May, Skylar and Rayhan with their new anniversary Pokemon. That's pretty cool. I like Rayhan's suit. I might have to pull for him just for that suit. Wish I had a suit like that, it looks awesome. But it's to celebrate the anniversary of Leah and Hooper becoming friends, or that's how the game justifies it anyway. It's in 3 parts, so there's sort of a section each for each of the anniversary sync pairs. And yeah, we'll see how that develops over the next week. You get different items for different tickets, they all have their own sort of limited run, and then they'll all sort of come together at the end. That's how I predict it to turn out anyway. I can see into the future! Maybe I can. There's also a Friendiversary Extreme Battle, which is also in 3 parts. So there's a Psychic time, a Flying time, and then a Dragon time, because I think Rayhan's is a dragon. I've only done the Psychic one so far. The other ones are going to come in next week's video. It says Psychic Buddies Unite. So I was like, right, let's unite my Psychic Buddies then. I was like, let's roll out. They're Psychics, so they knew what was coming. And I went with the most hopefully insane psychic output damage team of Necrozma and Luzamine, Mewtwo and Giovanni. Why did that take me so long? His face was everywhere last week. And Bianca and Mushana. And it's just load up as quickly as possible for as many attacks as you can and just have a psychic wave wash over the other team and sort of crush them. We've also got some throwback battle challenges. I believe that these are like the battle challenges and full force battles from previous events over the past year or so. There's far too many for me to go through in one video. I would recommend though checking out your missions to find out like the special conditions for each of those. And if you look in there's lots of good rewards to get your grubby little mitts on. So it's worth doing those. For the Spreading Shadows event, if you're saving up your crystals to upgrade your Mewtwo, and you did it in the last event, you want to not bother with that. I made the mistake of buying it again. You don't need to, you get just the singular 3-star ticket out of it. Whereas if you save them and spend them on the 30 crystals, obviously you get 3 instead of 1. The Victory Road has been released when you play through it. It's very good for teaching you the basics of the game. I'm kind of surprised that it's taken 2.5 years for something like this to be released, because I know I would have found a lot of it very useful. Even like a year ago I'd have found it very useful. I'm a pro at this game now because I've been playing it for so long and making videos on it. The gem bundles that come with that are the most generous in the game, so if you can afford it, you're going to get a lot of paid gems out of it for not as much as you would if you bought them individually. When you reach the end of the Victory Road, you can choose either Signasuit Red, Signasuit Blue, Signasuit Leaf, so the original first anniversary pairs. My recommendation would be to go for Blue, because he's a support type, he has that team endurance off of his sync move, he can just fit into a lot more teams than Red, although Red is probably one of the strongest strikers in the game, and Venusaur has Razor Leaf and Poison, so you wouldn't go wrong with any of them, but Blastoise probably the most useful for my money. I went for Blastoise. I have all of them already, but I went for Blastoise to upgrade its move powers. In this update, they've also tweaked the layout on the battle screen. There are parts of it I like where it's got little things on it that show if it's attacking 1 or all 3. That's very useful. I don't like that it shows whether it's physical or special, because I think that gets in the way a bit too much and it feels just a little bit cluttered at the moment. So I would like to see that taken half a step back and simplified a little bit more. I'll probably get used to it in the end though. There's been an announcement from the Masters team. Quite a lot of it covered like the anniversary and events that are going along with that. But 2 interesting nuggets to pick out of there that are coming down the line. We're going to have a Psychic type gear event coming up, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Get your Psychics out. They've also announced that the second running of the Legendary Gauntlet is on the horizon, so I think it's going to come sort of halfway through this month. I'm looking forward to it, but probably more dreading it because of the amount of effort that you have to put into it to get the rewards. But we'll see. Maybe this one will be the time where I rise to the occasion and I get a streak of like 150. But all of those are for the weeks that will be. This has been the week that was. Thank you very much for watching it. You're well past the 90-second mark at this point. If you've enjoyed it, you can like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter. I'm SEOM_YT. Hopefully you'll join me for the week that will be next week. But thank you very much for watching this video, and goodbye.